Welcome to the stream. Sorry it took me so long. Let me explain to you why I have been out of action the pandemic for one. Number two, I got a contract from Facebook to stream over there. So I've been really busy with that contract. Very, very busy. And so we're going to get right into it right now with the Integra. And I know there is a lot of people very, very upset about the Integra. And not only that, upset about, I guess, its legacy and, a lot of other things. So before we actually get down to talking about the Integra and the situation at hand, I'm going to explain to you guys, I've owned 6 Integras, 5 or 6 Civics, and I've had 2 S2000s. So I'm very, very much like a diehard fan of Integras. If you guys follow the channel, which you do, you would know that I had a 2006 Type R Integra right-hand drive, which is the RSX in the United States. You'll also know that I had the real deal, not a chopped up one, not one that was imported from Japan that I merged with an American version. I had a full-fledged right-hand drive Japanese VIN Type R. I've driven them. I've owned them. I've had supercharged RSXs. I've had turbo RSXs. I've had Type R NA engine swaps, Frankenstein LS VTEC builds. I've done them all. I love Integras. I love Hondas. I've had AP1 and AP2 S2000s. I actually went to school to build Honda engines back in 2005 and spent 2 years in a technical school to learn specifics about VTEC. We'll get into that later. But at the end of the day, I still, have a love for Integras. We're going to sit here and talk about the current issue. Okay, so they released a prototype 4-door of the Integra. And a lot of people are upset saying, oh, it's a 4-door. I don't want a 4-door. This is ridiculous. Listen, there's a TSX and an Accord. Acura's sales are right now the worst they've ever been since 2008 or 9 during the meltdown of the economy. It's the worst they've had in 13 years. In fact, it goes all the way back to 2005. Integra is suffering. Acura is suffering. They only have 14,000 sales in the United States in the year 2021. They're struggling. So they have to do something. They have to do something. And the 4-door Integra is meant to appease the crowd looking for a more luxurious Honda Accord or something like that, or TSX, TLX. The thing is that with the Integra, this is a really tough market. Okay, it really is, because Americans switched over to SUVs in 2002, 2003. They started going more towards SUVs. It's a very hard market to appease, and Acura seems to be struggling pretty catastrophically with this. And you got to understand that the NSX is being discontinued. They only sold 7 NSXs in a year and a half. Great car. Acura has bad marketing. They don't know how to market anything. They don't know. Same with Honda. The Type R Civic that we got in 2018, we should have got that 10 years earlier. Everything Honda does is always the right choice at the wrong time. Honda should have gave us a Civic Type R in 2008 or 2006 or earlier. We should have got an Integra Type R about the same time. The first Integra Type R came out in 1995. We didn't get it till 97. The first Acura Integra was actually American. Honda created Acura as a more sporty, luxurious brand of Honda because Americans weren't into F1 and Gran Turismo like they were in Japan or Europe. Nissan and Toyota came out with Lexus and Infiniti later on to copy Acura, and thus of putting a hurting on Acura because of Honda's inability to make decisions properly. And when they make proper decisions, they make them at incorrect times. Honda has the worst timing of any automotive company in the world. They, like I said, they have all the right choices, but they make them at the wrong times. Like I said, that 300 horsepower Civic we got, it's not as good as the Focus RS. It's not. I've driven them both. Focus RS is faster and it's all-wheel drive, and it's cheaper. A lot cheaper. Why would you spend 45, 50 grand on a 300 horsepower Civic front wheel drive when you could get an all wheel drive Focus RS for 10 grand less? Don't give me any of that head gasket nonsense. They fixed that. The RS is faster. It's faster on the launch. It's faster on the roll. It's faster in every way. It's the better car. Driven them both. It's the better car. And I'm a Honda fanboy. That should tell you something. The Civic Type R is 10 years too late at 300 horsepower and front wheel drive. The Supra destroys the Civic in speed and handling. It's cheaper. Honda makes all kinds of bad decisions. The NSX is a great car. It's fast. It's very fast. But the Supra is faster when you mod it, and it's cheaper. It's the same thing with the Lexus and the Infiniti cars. The RFs are just about as fast, and they're cheaper. The problem is Acura's cars are, same as Honda's, too little too late. So, excuse my cough. I got a little bit of a cold. Acura is changing things up. Now we get into the Acura Integra. I'm going to explain to you what they're doing here. And people, rightfully so, are jumping to conclusions. And like I said, rightfully so. The new Integra is a two-door prototype. Keyword prototype. It debuted with the 200 horsepower, 4-cylinder turbo Honda Civic Si engine. That is not the main engine for the Acura Integra. It's going to be like a TSX style engine of some sort. It's going to be between 220 and 240 horsepower. They are not going to put the same engine in the Civic Si as they're going to in the Integra. The Integra is going to have a little bit more power. It's probably going to be like 210, 220 most likely. I'm thinking 220, 240, and I'm hearing that from my people, but at the same time, I'm thinking it's going to be a little bit less. At the end of the day, when asked, and this is a direct quote, when asked, I'm speaking about one of the presidents or spokespersons for Honda America, or in Acura America too, said, are we going to get a two-door Integra? There was a pause and a cough and a maybe. Sure. We know the two-door is coming. America's always behind. I'm going to show you some pictures of the two-door Integra Type S already being released in Japan. We are going to get a two-door Integra Type S here, and it's going to follow about 9 months to a year after the original Integra, maybe even sooner than that. It's going to have about a 220 horse engine, maybe a little bit more. The Type R Integra is going to have to be more than the Type S, or than the Civic Type R. So I'm thinking we're going to get a beefier kind of maybe a 2.4 turbo for the Integra Type R, and it's going to be more or less like 320, 330, something like that. It's hard to tell exact numbers, but what I'm hearing is it's going to be more power than the Civic Type R. I'm going to show you guys some pictures here. I want you guys to see this. All right, look at this. This is a cool rendering, but it's not real. This is very realistic, okay? This is the Acura Integra Type S, okay? Look at the lights. Look at the grille. Look at the front rendering. Look at the sides. Now look at this. Look at the lights. This very realistically is going to be similar to what we get for the Type R. And we know that a dying brand like Acura, who's struggling for sales, is going to do something like this. We know they are. We know it. We know that they're not going to go out quietly into the night. This is going to happen. Whether this happens in Japan only or Japan and America is yet to be found out. Japan will get this car. I guarantee it. It's just whether or not we get it. See, there's a two-door Acura right there. See lights in the back? There's your two-door. There's your two-door Integra right there. Don't say I didn't tell you so. I tell you guys this all the time. This is very similar to what it looks like. But that's obviously not going to be the same. But when we go back to this, we very well understand exactly. It's going to be that front end with that rear end. Okay? That's your Integra Type R right there. That's your Integra Type R. Will we get that in the States? I don't know, but I know for sure Japan's going to get it. And with the dying breed of Acura over here and their sales being shit, most likely we're going to get that. That's pretty much what we're looking at. Do I think that's the nicest looking thing they've ever released? Absolutely. They sell that in the United States, it'll outsell the Supra probably 10-1. There's more Honda fans in America than there are Toyota fans, period. Integra Type R, actually forget Honda, Type R. You put the letters Type R on a Honda, it'll sell faster than any Japanese car in the United States, period. It's not even a discussion. I would go out and sell my Mustang to buy that Integra. Facts. But that's what Japan's getting. This is what we're getting. The question is, how much longer do we wait to get the Type R if we're going to get it? Look at the front end lights. We will most likely get that. Now, I know that you guys are probably super upset about this. When we get the Integra two-door, that's what we're going to get right here. That's probably what we're getting. We're probably not getting the Type R. I mean, we might. It's 50-50 at this point, but there's a good chance we get this. This is the 220, 230 horsepower Type S that we probably get based off Honda's history. But we did get a Civic Type R. And since this is supposed to be a sportier brand than Honda, and they're trying to step up their game past the Acura NSX, we probably get that. It's kind of tough to tell at this point. Personally, I don't like that front end. I like this profile and rear end, but if we're going to get an Integra Type R, it needs to be like this. If they sell this car in the United States, it is going to sell more than their entire lineup the first year. I guarantee it. I guarantee they sell 25,000, 30,000 of those the first year. I will bet on it. Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. I'm going through comments periodically trying to keep up. So what it really comes down to is how long after the four-door till we get this two-door. See, there's another rendering. Well, actually, it's not a rendering. It's a prototype. They've already built that. That's the TLX, and then this is the Acura. Little bit, similarities going on there. But it's tough to say. We've already got this going to Japan. We got this coming to the States. And it makes sense. They tease the American market with this car to see the response, to see the demand, because they know we're going to demand a two-door as soon as we see that. So now they know we want it. So now they know they can go into production with it. They already knew this, but they really wanted to see. They wanted to see the type of response they would get from this prototype. And as soon as we saw it, we started bitching and complaining and wanting a two-door. So Acura knows this. They know this now. So meet the two-door that we're probably going to get. And the two-door that we're possibly could get. We possibly could get. So here's my message to Honda and to anybody out there who says that this is a concept. Concepts are in your mind and on paper. Prototypes are built. This is not a concept, it's a prototype, just like that. This is a concept that's probably a prototype in Japan at this point. That's a prototype, all of which are now built. In small numbers, might I add. One or two, but still. The issue that Honda has had over the years is too little too late. Okay? This is what we got in the United States. This is what we got in the United States right there, okay? Nothing wrong with it. Chromy, glossy headlights. Leather. The usual. People mod them out to look like that. In Japan, they get this. I had one. I drove it. It was on my YouTube channel. Go back and watch the videos. Mine was literally that year. It was that model that year. All red Recaro, everything. I've driven right-hand drive Type R. I know what they drive like. They're not the same as the American cars. They don't drive the same. They don't feel the same. The chassis is more rigid. There's a lot of different things that are going on with the Type R over the Type S's or the American cars. They're not really similar. They look similar in ways, but there's just nothing the same about them. And they're fast though. The 220 horsepower Type R, it only weighs 2,600 pounds. I mean, they run mid-14s, bone stock. A 4-cylinder that gets 26 miles per gallon runs 14s, low 14s. Crazy. And that technology is 16 years old, 18 years old. The new Civic Type R runs 13s, and it's a 2.04 cylinder. So yeah, I mean, that is the Integra Type R, RSX in the States. There's another shot of it. The nicest, most... Well, here's another one. Let me show you the most, excuse me, timeless design in Honda's history. Right here. One of the most beautiful cars ever made. Literally. This is definitely the best car Honda made in the 90s. I liked it more than the Integra, to be honest. They've had some nice stuff. Once you do them up, they're extremely, extremely clean. Too little, too late. We got 2 Type Rs in the 90s, and they dropped them clean off. This is what Japan gets, and this is what we get. Again, Japan still gets the better stuff. Always. So the question is, as you can tell, it's yellow too, right? I've been in the Honda game for 22 years. I've owned every Honda there is except the NSX, including a CRV and a TSX. TSX with a swap. Been there, done it. What's up, Patrick? What's up, everybody in the chat? Sorry, I have not called out your names. I want to get straight to the video because I had audio problems at the beginning. I've been in the Honda game. Even though I'm driving Hellcats and Mustangs, I've been in the Honda game my whole life. I've owned Hondas for 20 years, 22 years, as most recently as 2 years ago, still had a Type R. And I know the way they think. I know what they do. I know how they do things. If they mess this up, Acura's dead. Period. They sold 14,000 cars in 2021. I mean, what is that? I mean, Ford's produced more GT350s in 1 year than Acura sold in their entire lineup. And the GT350 is not a top-selling car. It's a limited production car. That should tell you something. Acura is struggling financially. And if Acura keeps up the trend that they have right now, in about 2 years, they could go defunct. I don't care what anybody says. They're on a downward spiral, and it ain't looking good. They have not increased profit margins in 5 years, well before the pandemic. Acura has been on a plateau since they discontinued the RSX. They've went up a little bit in 2012 and 13 and 14. They came right back down and flattened out. Since the RSX died, they have not been a brand to go to for any type of performance, except the TL and TSX, which in my opinion are dogs. Total dogs. Who's going to buy a TL with 300 horsepower when you can buy a Taurus SHO with 300 horsepower or 280? Who's going to buy a TL or a TSX when you can go buy a Hellcat or a Chevy SS or an Infiniti or any of those cars, Mercedes, BMW? No one cares about the Acura TL and TSX. Nobody cares. That's why they only sold 14,000 cars in a year. Nobody cares. Acura has sunk their own brand since the discontinuation of the RSX. They've done absolutely nothing. They give us the TSX, which was a shortcoming. We should have had the Honda Euro Accord. Let me show you what that looks like. We get the TSX, right? We get a TSX. And somehow Japan gets a Type R Euro Accord, and we're stuck with some snobby Acura TSX. This is what they get in Japan, okay? This is why a Honda and Acura are dying, specifically Acura. We get a TSX. They get that. Okay, let's figure that one out. This is the pile of junk that we get. This is the pile of junk that we get right here. Look at this crap. All the chrome all over it. All the nasty ass chrome. Like anybody gives a shit about that. Yeah, no thanks. That's what we get right there. Yeah, Acura is pretty bad. That's what we get right there, all right? Hell yeah, for sure. This is the shit that we get for an Acura. And this is what Japan gets. Now, please explain to me how Acura's logic is to take a great car and just flatten it to like a generalization and a one-size-fits-all and then ship it to the States. Just doesn't make any sense. This is why Acura is dead. They give us this garbage, this hot burning pile of dog shit right here, and yet they get that. If I drove by a Honda dealership and I saw this car on the lot, I'm stopping to check it out. When I realize it's a 260 horsepower Type R Euro Accord, I'm going to buy it. Or that, I drive by a dealership and I see that crap and I keep on driving forever. I don't know what's wrong with the way they do business, or why they do business the way they do. But that is the reason why they have a dying car brand. See, look at this. Why can't we get this? Why can't we have that? Huh? It's an ugly, fugly pile of garbage. In Japan, they get this. Like, what? Like, wow. Really? It's ongoing. That's not a fake car. Like in Europe, they have a Euro Accord. Or a Euro Odyssey and a Touring Odyssey. Let me see if I can look up Honda Odyssey Touring 2010. Was it 2010? Where is the Touring minivan? Like this, like that's what their minivans look like. Like racing minivans. I'm not even kidding. I'm looking for one to show you called the Touring Edition, which is basically a minivan Type R from Honda, from the factory. Like, look, this guy slammed it, but that doesn't take away the fact that it's a Type R minivan, right? This guy's converted his. Well, as far as the Integra is concerned, we're getting a two-door for sure. It's just a matter of we're getting Type R or not. It's the only thing. Like I said, the guy for Integra or Acura, the spokesperson for Acura and the Integra, did not deny a two-door, which pretty much means they left the door open for it intentionally. And the reason they did that is because in Japan, the two-door already exists. I say 100% we get this two-door Type S. 50%, maybe 60%, we get the Type R two-door. Only because they got a bad history of making wrong decisions. I'll tell you what, though. If Acura messes this up this time, they may not be able to survive. Acura is a dying breed. Let's just face the facts. Our childhood brand is going out the window. Like, just imagine that nice car right there. That little Type R with 300 horsepower. It's fast. That right there is the end-all be-all. 100%. The issue at hand is, in Japan, they've got that. They already got that. Like, that's what they got. They got this. And we got, like, dog shit. We got shit like this. Like, just imagine that. We get that. They get this. I mean, that's okay for a four-door, but at least they have two-door options, right? That's the way to go right there. Like, that's pretty sick. Actually, that's very sick, but the front end, I don't know if I like the front end as much as I do this. Like, this has a better front end. And it's the more logical choice. They're not going to change the front end for one model of one car. When you look at that, which is the Type S model current, that's definitely the Type R. Think of the Integra as the same thing as the C. The C300 Mercedes. Let me show you what I'm talking about. C63. All right, let's look at this. There is the 4-door right there. And then here is the 2-door. Same as the Integra. If you guys notice, they've got relatively the same front end. They just shorten the body a bit and extend the door. Same thing as the Integra. It's the exact same thing they're going with on the Integra. I feel like they're doing the same exact thing. Literally doing the exact same thing as the Integra. If you guys look, it's clear as day. You got a 2-door, and then you got the 4-door right here. So, I mean, if you look at them side by side, they're essentially the same car, slight differences. So we are getting a 2-door. It's just a matter of we're going to get Type S and Type R or just Type S. You know, at the end of the day, I just think that they got to do things a little bit smarter. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut this video off here. Web camera is not working. And I won't be able to get it turned back on while the video is live. It'll probably take way too long. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry I didn't get a chance to call everybody's name out. I appreciate everybody being here. If you haven't already, check me out over on Facebook. Facebook.com/Real Joseph Corey for the live streams. I'm over there 6 days a week. So if you miss me, want to chat, hang out, I'm over there all the time. And I got some more videos coming for you this week. I just got to figure out, you know, which time I'm going to get them in. But I wanted to do this one since I, you know, had some news on the Type R and the Integra and how things are going. But like I said, I appreciate you guys stopping in. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys on the next upload. Be safe. Peace and love for you guys. Yeah, like I said, everybody head over Real Joseph Corey on Facebook. Big Reg and a lot of guys are over there already. So hope to see you guys over there. I'll be on the live stream in about an hour on Facebook or less. Peace out, guys. Thanks so much for stopping, and we'll see you. I'm out.